Welcome back. No, I'm unmuted. Okay, welcome back. So for many of you guys out there, you're wondering, does that guy even know how to play anything? You know? Well, did you know that most music videos that you guys watch online, it's all acting. No one's really singing. Their mouths are moving, they're playing stuff, but it's all silent. And they actually build all that stuff in a studio. And then they just get up and do a music video. And yes, I was musically inclined. When I was very young, my mother put me into lessons for accordion. You ever hear of an accordion? You know, play the different musical songs. I don't know. I forget. If you threw an accordion on me, in my head, I know some basic tunes, and I just start playing an accordion. Then I got a guitar. When I became a JW, I saved up some money and I went to the secondhand store and bought a 12-string guitar and started playing with that. And I never became really good at anything, but I had an inclination. I liked music. So keyboard, I ended up getting a keyboard and I started playing the keyboard. And you can do amazing things with a keyboard. And then, I don't know, through the move, we sold it, gave it away. Everything's gone, no instruments. All I have is the ones you see, the invisible ones. And tried playing with an invisible, you think there's a drum there, but you know, when you create your whole video, you put the drums in later. And then a 24-string racket, you know. Anyways, we have a lot of fun here in the studio. Life is about having a bit of fun. And I think when I was a Jehovah's Witness for 30 years, I took my life too serious. And everything was kind of serious in the religion. A lot of scrutiny going on. We're going to talk about a little bit here. We're going to look at their Secret Elders book. Now, we're behind in the back alley here. We weren't sure what kind of a background to give you. Now, if you guys have something you want to know about the Secret Elders book, we're going to pull it up on the screen. We're going to look at the Secret Elders book. So I'll be looking at the comments here. If you guys have anything that you would like to see. Apathy Bay, boy, 35 hours. I hope you made it. They were checking in on our commercials. We're doing some new things here. And first of all, I want to say hi to John. John, welcome. So John's brand new. He joined the member. There's a join button. You can join our coffee club. So John, thank you for joining. There. Thanks, John. That helps us out a lot. We do this full time, my wife and I. And we're going to show you what's coming up here on the show. We have some new things coming up we're going to share with you just before we get rolling. Hello, Jay. Nice to see you. Lisa, good morning. Lisa's from New Zealand. Well, I'm glad you like the dances, Lisa. You know, 9 out of 10 people like that stuff. I just tried it, started doing it, and people like it, I guess. Few people don't. But I guess majority wins. Rutherford Russell, welcome. Rutherford Russell, that's quite the name. JM, thank you for coming. And we have Kappa Defahate. I don't know if I said that right. What do Pimo, Pimi, Pimo mean? The term Pimo, Pimi, Pomo are abbreviations commonly used within certain communities to describe. Yeah, good point. I'm glad you put that up there. I'm going to show you on the, I think when you join our Discord channel now, it'll ask you all those questions. Okay, and we have Sevilla, Florida. Hello, welcome. And we have Steam 1. And what else we have? Fire Soul Rockers. Welcome. Rena. Okay, if I missed you, I'm sorry. But welcome everyone to the show. And what are we going to talk about? Did we? Okay, you started some. Disfellowshipping rules. Here's one. I'd like to see what the new disfellowshipping rules are. So would I. I'm doing this with you guys, by the way, and we might take a few episodes to do this. There's 300 pages in that Elder's book. Okay. What else do we have? Steen 1 says, do they still say broken Kingdom Hall windows, call the police, CSA accusations? We're going to look at that. Any more? Apathy boy. Oh, hello. Welcome. 35 hours ago, you were waiting for this show. Well, we haven't started yet. We're just kind of saying hi to everyone. And Southern Boss Lady, welcome from Carolinas. Welcome. How y'all going down there? I don't know how a Canadian's supposed to talk. US. It's everyone has a different, little bit of a different accent. We all do. Some tell us that we talk too fast up here. So I'm not sure. If I talk too fast, if I really talk too fast, just let me know and I'll slow right down. Okay, got that out of the way. My good wife says what? Okay, so you can take yourself off when you're ready. Okay, I was going to talk about, first of all, a little bit about leaders. But before we do that, I want to pull you into our Discord channel, show you what's brand new with the show. And if you go to our Discord channel, you come in here, you can see all the events under Fixing My Faith, all of our thumbnails here, and you can click into them. You can also come to our channel and you can look on our lives. We have a lineup. So we've changed kind of what we're doing. We have 4 lives now throughout the week. two of them I will be doing. I'll do the Monday and the Friday ones, and they're going to be various subjects of interest. Now, if you'd like to do a live, you don't want to start a channel up, we have room. We could do another live. And so you just have to contact my good wife. Now, on these lives, we're trying to run a little bit of a trailer. So you've seen that. The masks one is coming up. And this is a bit what it's like. So you can notify, but we're trying to put a bit of a trailer, show what our content's about. And this way it plays a trailer. You can kind of get an idea what's coming up on that live. Okay, having said that, the Discord channel. So if you haven't joined Discord lately, if you don't know what it is, it's a closed-knit community server. And this is tailored towards ExJWs. It gives them a community where they can come in on. It's private. And they can vent. They can look at all kinds of stuff. There's information sharing. There's creators. If you want to meet the creators, there's a creator community and it's growing. Aposta Babe, Linda James, ExJW Karen Saunders, Joe and Fran, Fixing My Faith, Mellerite with Nate, Ruby Quinn, Witness Underground. These are just a few that are on so far. If you're a creator and you'd like to come on, just come on in and set yourself up a creator community. You'll set yourself up in the creator community. And under there, you can share all of your all your upcoming movies, things like that. This is what we're doing in this little community. It's free of charge. You just come on in and take advantage of it. Okay, so we're moving forward. I think that's it. I wanted to talk a little bit about top secret, the ugly truth behind having something top secret like the Elder's book. And you wonder why, communities, why religions or organizations do that. I'll just go like this. But there's a lot of advantages for them in a power position, so they think. At least there was in the olden days, but today there is no advantage. So we're going to learn this in a bit. So this elders book that we're going to look at is top secret. When you're an elder, you basically have to sign over. I was never an elder, so I didn't sign anything. I didn't make any oath or any commitment on this elders book. This elders book I found online, and I'll actually put a link for it after the show where you can find it online as well. And you can upload your own copy of the secret elders book. So there's no secrets here, folks. In today's age, what do we say? Okay, you guys got it? Okay, very good. Everything hidden will be revealed. That's kind of one of our sayings on this show. Everything hidden will be revealed. And that's what's happening. We're in that day and age. We are living, you and I, in an exciting time. We're living in a time that we get to witness all of these changes. In fact, we're a part of them. We're part of the changes. In fact, we're going to look at the elders book, and we're going to show you all the work that the apostates have done over this past year. From the 2023 elder book to the 2024 elder book, there's some big changes. And this is largely due to the work of the apostates, the ones that are in opposition to the religion, by the way, not opposition to Christ or any of those things. JW Org mislabels this. We show it on all of our channels, and this is putting many holes in their big ship, their big ark. So the ugly truth behind having secrets, information is power. What information should you share with your team? What are things that are better kept secret? How does leadership fit into the picture? And what secrets should you have as a leader? And what things should you never hide? And being a strong believer in transparency and honesty, I don't think there are. So this is kind of how it starts out. Reasons to hide information. Well, it starts out, but I've heard some managers that some information shouldn't be shared, as they'd have a negative impact on the motivation of the team. And the team would question some of the decisions, and people wouldn't understand why something was necessary. And sometimes there is this fear that when you share information, it can be used against you. So let me debunk some of these myths. So that's how this kind of starts out. This is obviously an article that's not for hiding. This is like, reveal your information. Be transparent. And I think that's the age that we're living in, folks. Friends, we're living in an age of transparency. So I'll get this up a little bigger if you want to follow along. You can. Sharing negative information, reasons to hide information. Okay. So sharing negative information will demotivate the team. Would it demotivate the congregation if they had access? They could see this elders book online. Well, here's what it says. Why should it? Explaining the situation as it is will be seen as a show of respect and trust. I would agree. No secrets, guys. Why the secrets? Explaining the situation. After all, we are dealing with mature adults. Well, at least we think we are with elders, right? That's what it says. We're supposed to be dealing with mature adults who know that life is complicated. And if you can follow up with a vision of a future, you may even create a sense of urgency and make people act to change things for the best. So things can change. Sharing proposals that are not approved will create friction. People hate uncertainty, and people from cultures also hate not being included in decisions that impact their lives. Keeping your team in the loop even during a decision-making process will allow them to contribute and will create a feeling that their opinion matters. Could you imagine, folks, if they voted in elders, that everyone in the congregation could have some kind of an electronic means? Because no one likes to raise their hands, right? Because no one wants anybody to see that they don't disagree with something. But these should all be electronic, an app within the congregation for decision making. Just like a vote, it should be secret, a ballot. unless they want a secret ballot box at the end. No one knows. This showing of hands is the wrong way to do it in today's age. Then everyone could do an honest vote and see who would really be the elders in the congregation. People would question my decision if I share too much information. Why should they? I assume you base your decision on, okay, I'm just going to read through this. If I share this proposal, someone may steal it. If I share this information with others, I won't have an advantage over them. You see, this is about sharing business information. We're thinking congregation, sharing the elders book. Okay, I'm the boss, so I'm the elder. I'm the boss, I'm the elder. The team or the congregation doesn't need to know the details. Well, you're right, they don't need to know. But again, if you want them to follow you and work towards a common goal, the more information you provide, the bigger likelihood that they will have the sense of ownership and work to the best of their abilities to achieve the goal. Does that make sense? No one wants to be blindsided by some elder walking up to you and saying, hey, you, we want to see you in the back with two of us. So that's what they call an investigation committee. And they're the bosses in the congregation. And you don't know that you broke a rule because you don't have access to their elders book. You see, and that's what's unfair about that. That's happened to me, by the way. I had no idea that that was in their rule book. If I would have known that was in their rule book, I could have acted a bit different. Maybe I wouldn't have gotten mad at them and swore at them or something like that. Ended up in another meeting, judicial meeting. You got to be careful. There's rules. And if you understand the procedure for these elders, and you see these elders are puppets. They're just puppets, and they're puppets on a string from the watchtower. We're going to show you that in the elders book. But I just wanted to get you warmed up with some of the about leadership, secretness, how that's nonsense. So here's another one. I'm shielding the team from too much information so they don't get distracted. So, elders, if the elders book was out there on the JW.org site, maybe everyone would get distracted. What do you think? Yeah, to a certain degree, maybe. Sometimes when it's there, it's not a big deal. But it's when it's secret is when people are going to get distracted. So they might be looking at this all wrong. And if they make this elder book not secret, just another book, if you want to be an elder, this is what the book says. Well, they open it up for scrutiny now. You see, that's what they don't like. So here it is. Why did you hire a bunch of legally insane people? That's what we might say, right? You get reading this elder book. Which insane bunch of people put this piece of crap together? That's what you might think, right? And if you hired smart adult individuals, why do you believe you need to filter information for them? It is their responsibility to filter things they need and don't need. And by giving them the opportunity to decide what's important, you treat them with respect, and it's more likely they will follow you. Good advice to the governing body. But maybe if they showed people their elders book, they wouldn't be looked upon as righteous, maybe. We're going to look at this in a bit. What are they afraid of? What are they hiding in this elders book? Here's one. I love this quote by Richard Semler. Workers are adults, but once they walk through the plant gate, companies transform them into children. There's a lot of truth there. People, you walk into the Kingdom Hall as an adult, you're making decisions for your household, and then you get baptized, you raise your family in there, and you lost all of your ability to make decisions. You become children. You see, in the watchtower, if you're in the watchtower, you're children of the governing body. It's all down through the elders. It's through this elders book. We're going to show you. You become children. You lose your adulthood. And that's why it's brain damage. It stunts our brains. I was in it for 30 years and I got out. And I had a heck of a time managing. If right now, if I come from now until then, back to 2012 when I came out, like there's a tremendous amount of stuff I now have cleaned up in my mind. And it's made my life a lot smoother operating. where before it was like a roller coaster. It was just, there was lots of stuff going on that wasn't cleaned up. And this is why we run a lot of programs, videos on this channel about cleaning our mind up, mind control, understanding that it's a trance, all of these things. And this is how they do it. They control us through the Secret Elders book. So why should we share information? Well, to share some time ago, what is he saying here? I'm not going to read that. There's a lot of stuff here. Transparency and trust. By being transparent, you show a great deal of trust that your team will be able to handle the information like reasonable adults. And when you trust people, guess what? They trust you back. Inclusion and sense of ownership. By including people in decisions and sharing information with them, you're making them part of the decision. You create a sense of ownership. And honesty and human face. By being open and honest, even at times when you're lost and unsure about the correct course, and if you freely admit mistakes, you put a human face on you, and you'll be more acceptable to others. They'll follow you because they will know that you won't lie to save your face. And this is so important. We see this is what's happening. People are coming out of the watchtower. They're looking back. These guys lie. They say things. They go onto their platform and they say, everyone else is liars, but the only people that never lie, never deceive is the governing body. Well, you be the judge. There's so much information out there that shows quite the opposite. And when it comes to court, they will do everything to hide, to make shelf companies, to make many companies, and they will hide behind the shelves of these companies so that they're not prosecuted when it comes to children's safety, child abuse. So this is what's happening. That's why they can't share their information. We're looking at their secret book to see how they got in trouble with that. And we're going to be comparing it. So then it talks about compensation. Well, this is what we have to deal with in the watchtowers, of compensation. And they do not want to deal with it. That's why they're lying. They go to court. They deceive people. And that's why there's all of us on this side of the fence, because we thought we were in a truthful organization, but it's not. Okay, so I think that's all we're going to say on this. I was looking at some other articles on leadership. There's a big problem in the I guess in the religious community with leaderships. I was doing some research on how many of these leaders are trained when it comes to CSA in all the religions out there. And it's a huge problem, folks, a huge problem. There's no training. All these churches are scrambling. There's lots of churches that still have this old view. I got to show you this one. I saved it. How to handle legitimate accusations. This is right from their handbook here. This is from some of the other churches. And number one is verify the accusation. If the accusation proves to be false, fellow members, not just other elders, should reprove. This is the first, right out the gate, should reprove the one making the meritless accusation. So here you go. You got a little girl. Who are they telling this to? It says, if the accusation proves to be false, fellow members, not just other elders, should reprove the one making the merciful accusation. So here, this little girl says, so-and-so touched me or did something. Could be an elder, right? They actually get into it. And they're very defensive when it's an elder. This is religious stuff. These are people out there running churches. They're not getting it. They're not getting it. They're hiding. There's a lot of scared people out there. Why? If they have no issues with child abuse, why would they, get that right into, it's a crime. This is a crime in today's age. How should a church handle accusations against an elder? So if you verify it in-house, and of course the elder says, no, that didn't happen. So then what do? They believe the elder, and they all gang up others in the church and they reprimand the child. That's what I'm reading on this. This is BS, folks. This is BS. This is why we're doing our work. We're exposing this. this here ministry. This is 2018. They may have changed. This is old, right? 2018. They may have changed. But this stuff is still on the internet, and this is what people are finding. So we're going to 2024. We're going to look at how Jehovah's Witnesses have really changed their game. And I got two elders' books here, Shepherding the Flock. This is what they look like right out the gate. And I can blow it up when we look through these. So this is a 2023 edition. Over here on this screen, I got they look the same right out the gate, but it's a 2024 edition. Now, I don't know if you can see this. This is a 2024 edition. I have a little search. Oh, yeah, you can see it on there. So I'm going to search. I like to do this. I like to search for love, the word love. And the word love comes up. I'm going to blow this up for you. The word love comes up. Can you see that? 17 times, 1 out of 5. So it's 1 out of 5 times. That's all it is. Love, 5 times is in here. There's 4 out of 5 times love. This is the 2024 Elders book. Love is in it 5 times. Now I'm going to go to the 2023 Elders book, and love is in it 5 times. So love is still only in it 5 times. That's it. So we're in the 2023 Elders book. We're going to type in loving. Let's see how it comes up a few more times. It comes up 15 times, loving. The word loving 15 times, loving elders. Now we're going to go to the 2024 book, Elders book. And we're going to type in loving. And it comes up 15 times. I thought they would have changed that. So I'm going to try something else. Let's type in the word judicial. You see, I was told this was a loving shepherding book, but we're going to type in judicial. And judicial, holy smokes, she's still counting. Wow. Judicial, 337 times. 337 times, folks. Get that? 337 times. This is a judicial book. This is not a loving shepherding book. This is a judicial book. Well, it says right on the title. Every page says it. So that's why they have so many. But it's all the way through the book. Judicial action, judicially, handled judicially, a judicial committee. So it's a judicial book. Okay, so that's getting that out of the way. Let's go to the index. Let's go all the way up to the index, and we're going to look at the indexes and see what an elder has to, what happens when he gets his book. Okay. Imagine you're an elder, you just got appointed an elder, never been able to see this book before. All of a sudden you get slapped with this book. How many pages is it? It's 337 pages. No, that's judicial. But it is over 300 pages. We'll look at that. Okay, so when you get the elder's book, this is what it looks like. Now, you remember the governing body says we're just a shelf organization. We don't control the elders. We're going to look at this. So here's what they do. This book has been issued to, so if you're the elder, they'll issue it to you. I don't know what the stipulation is, if you have to sign an oath, sign it, but you're not allowed to show anybody. I think it says it here. Okay, so it says here, this publication is not for sale. It's provided as part of a worldwide Bible educational work supported by voluntary donations. So if you're an elder and you're getting this secret book and it's what, 290 pages, 300-page book, secret, you'd probably throw $20 towards them or something like that. I'd probably do that up here. Now, you notice here, to make the donation, please visit. They don't want the donation stuck into the, see, they're very clear about, they want money for this book. So it's voluntary, because you might throw $100 in. You see, if they put a $59.99, that's the price of Trump's Bible. And they'd throw that in there. They might get $100 out of you, because you feel you got a bonus that week and you gave it all. You might throw five. People are stupid. They throw lots of money at the org. They feel like, I got this elder's book now. And Jehovah gave me a bonus at work today. It wasn't due to my hard work. It was Jehovah. So I could give that bonus to the elder book on JW.org. To make donation, here's what you do. Go to JW.org. So on this show, I encourage no one to make any donations to this. It's free.
We appreciate your time.
We appreciate your time.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay. Good wife. Okay. Unless otherwise indicated, the scripture quotations are from the modern language of the New World Translation. Shepherd the Flock, English, 28. So this is basically a 2018 edition, but they just revised it for 2024. Now here's your hooker. Here's who controls the puppet strings, folks, right here. The Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of Korea Incorporated Association. Really? Really? The Watchtower Bible. Are you serious? Okay, let's look at this book here. This is the 2023 book. I want to see if it says that. Doesn't say that. It does. The Watchtower Bible and Tracts Republic of Korea Incorporated Association. Why would they do that? Is that who publishes this? But yet the publishers are the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, Wallkill, New York. You see that? You see what's going on here, folks, is that the Watchtower is being held up for scrutiny as to who's pulling the puppet strings for each of the congregations. So we're going to be looking at that as we go through here. Now, I can pull up another elder's book, an older one. Let me just see if I can pull that up. And elders books. Oh yeah, I got older ones here. I'm going to go back as old as I can. I'm going to go back to Kingdom Ministries. Where's all my elders books? SFL. Is that an elders book? Let's see. Nope. Oh, there's an older one, 2011. Okay, here's an old 1991 elders book. And a lot of these CSA cases, let's see if I can pull this one up. Yep. So this is the old 1991 elders book. For those of you that have been in the organization a lot of years, you may have seen this. It was a hardbound elders book. The new one here is, this new one here is not. It's softbound. What does it look like here? The cover. There's your cover of your new one, your newer version, and here's the old one, 1991 edition. So when we go into this one, let's see who owns it. See, this is where the Watchtower got themselves into some trouble. This is the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of Pennsylvania, all rights reserved. Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of New York, International Bible Students Association. They really nailed it. for accountability. Like they nailed all their companies. They're proud of this book, right? Unless New World Translation, all rights reserved, made in the U.S. So this is their book. This is their old book, and this is what's gotten them into all the trouble. So the old book got them into trouble because of ownership. This new book is published, owned by a shelf company out of Korea. And the publishers are just the people with the printing press, folks. They're just a printing company in New York. It's made in the US. So this is how Watchtower number 1 is sheltering themselves today, is by putting this through a shelf company. Okay, so let's see if there's anything in here that holds them liable. If there's any kind of a string, this is what we're looking for, is accountability. Who is controlling the puppet strings? This is the string. This is what's dangling at the end, is this elders book. And this elders book is what controls this worldwide organization. So they're getting sued left and right in court today for yesterday's actions based on yesterday's elders book, because they're accountable. But today they're hiding the fact that they're accountable. In fact, today they went to court for yesterday and they said, well, our rules aren't like that. We're just a printing company. They got held accountable in the Montana court for deceiving the court, because the court, the plaintiff, the ExJWs looked at the old elders book. They had access to it. It's available. It's not that secret. As much as Watchtower wants things to be secret, they're not secret anymore. Okay, we're going to carry forward on this new one. Here's the table of contents. So I'll put that up on big screen here. So there's appeal hearings, disassociations, reinstatements, meetings, kingdom halls, correspondence records, field ministry, multi-language fields, shepherding. I'll just scroll through this. Weddings, prisons. They really get involved in your personal life. Weddings. I'm curious what they want to say about weddings. They made a whole separate section on weddings. Appendix, work at the Kingdom Hall. Now they want safety permits and stuff. Introduction. Okay, this is important. Maybe we can glean something out of this. As an appointed elder, you have a serious responsibility to shepherd the flock. Although this book covers most aspects of our work as elders, at times you may need to consult other sources of theocratic direction, such as the organized book and other forms, announcements, and letters provided by the branch office. Excuse me. Be alert to adjustments. They make adjustments on their elders' letters to this elders book. So they'll, for a time, we'll see what happens. We keep an eye on that on the ExJW community. They say ensure you're using the latest version. Okay, here it is. This publication is copyrighted and confidential. It is issued to each appointed elder. If an elder is deleted for the reasons other than moving to another congregation with a favorable recommendation, he should turn over the publication to the Congregation Service Committee to be destroyed, and any electronic copies in his possession should be deleted. So there you go. It's copyrighted. It's confidential. So I guess if you were an elder and it was given to you and you accepted it as a copyright and confidential item, maybe that's why a lot of these aren't shown on the screen on videos. I don't see these elder books being shown that much because of that aspect. Maybe that's my out. I was never good enough to be an elder, so I'm not under those restrictions. I just found this elders book on the internet. Okay. So copyright, you're going to be worked over on that when they give it to you. We pray this publication will prove to be valuable resource to assist you in imitating Jehovah God and Jesus. Well, Jesus used love a lot in his terminology. Now, Jehovah God, I don't know. I have my reservations there. Jehovah's killed a lot of people, made people look at snakes, or they'd die if they didn't look at a copper snake because they were hungry. I don't know what to say about some of this stuff I read in the Bible. Yeah. Okay, well, anyways, we know what their intention is. Imitate God, be holy, love. God is love. That's what they're trying to pitch here. Rather than making rigid rules, oh, come on, they're saying that. Rather than making rigid rules for the congregation, rely on scriptural principles and direction from Jehovah's organization. What comes first? Direction from Jehovah's organization. That's what comes first. Okay, so there's still no responsibility, folks, going back to New York in this new elders book. So there's how they're limiting their liability. This book is published by some Korean company. Come on, really? That's how they're pitching this. That's sneaky. How elders work together as a body, responsibilities, elders meetings, when to hold them, what to discuss, compiling and distributing agendas. During the meeting, pursue peace and maintain confidentiality. So, yeah, no transparency at all. Okay, so Jehovah has appointed Jesus as the head of the congregation, and you're accepting Jesus as a head promotes cooperation and unity in the body. And you demonstrate submission to Christ's headship when you do the following. When you seek to understand and apply the Bible laws and principles, obey direction from the... Oh, come on. So here you go. Obey and be blessed. Obey, listen, and be blessed. Obey direction from the faithful, discreet slave, this fictitious group they made, and from overseers. Okay, well, this leads you back. Okay, folks, this leads you back to the puppet string. There's accountability right here. Here's your accountability. If I was a lawyer and I was looking for accountability, here it is. It's right here. If I was an elder, this is really strict. Like, they take this strict. Obey, listen, obey. Oh, I screwed it up. Oh. I'll fix it. It's just a little slow on the lag here. Okay, we'll blow that back up. Okay. So you obey the directions from the faithful slave, and now it's clear. And from overseers appointed, such as those right there at the branch office and the circuit overseer. So there's your accountability. That's who pulls the puppet strings on these books, the branch office. Through the circuit overseers. The circuit overseer is holding the string for the branch office. The branch office is there, and the circuit overseer is involved. So that's how they do it all over the world. Listen carefully. So regardless of what they say, where they're publishing it and who has the publishing rights, this is it, folks. Obey the faithful and discreet slave. That's those 9 men in New York. That's who the faithful slave is. Obey, listen to them. So here, even again, listen carefully to the expression of fellow elders. Deal in a kind and loving manner with each individual, including fellow elders. Do not impose personal viewpoints or arbitrary rules. So always go to the faithful slave, always go to the bound volumes, the JW org, JW library. This is how this organization works. So open and close all meetings of the body elders with prayer. Pray again if a discussion of the body elders seems to falter. Responsibility. Okay, you guys have questions you want to? I'm just going through this right from the start. And we're going through kind of the responsibility section for elders. So we've had lots in the community ask that I read through this elder's book. Now I can, I'm going to go, I'm 50 minutes in. We usually do these shows for about an hour and a half. And at the end, if you guys have specific questions, we're going to go right there. Like if you want to know how they talk about masturbation, we can go there. We just research it and pull all that stuff up. But I'm just going to read through it for now. We're trying to get through this so that everything that is hidden will be revealed. So we'll have a series of videos on this elder's book every Monday until it's done. And then we'll have a playlist on our account, and you can go in there and we'll show the chapters that we covered. So let's say you need to know something, you can hit that video, and then the Hidden Elders book is exposed, and you'll get a little bit of my injection into this, how I feel about things, and how the audience feels about it, because you're going to see the live comments here too. So anybody that's, yeah. So San Diego Pimo's right. It is avoid JW. That's where we're getting all this stuff. Watchtower can't touch them because they're in Ireland or something. They're offshore. Canada, it's harder for them to touch us here in Canada. There's better rights for showing things and being an activist. There's some really good protection laws here. Okay, so the responsibility of the body of elders includes making recommendations for appointments, deletions of servants and elders, deciding on the number of field service groups, who will serve as group overseers, assistants, deciding the subjects of the local needs. So they always have local needs in a congregation. So if you have a problem with adultery, they're going to have a local needs part on it. Usually they do local needs parts based on people that get disfellowshipped. So if someone got disfellowship for adultery, they'd have adultery part on it. Usually how it works. Deciding who should serve as the secretary. So that's how you know. Like, people aren't stupid, folks. We weren't stupid when we were in there. We're not stupid when we're out. People that are in there, they're not stupid either. And they say, oh, yeah, it's all secret. No one is exposed. We're not making, we're not even. So they say, okay, so-and-so is no longer one of Jehovah's Witnesses. That's how they say it. They don't use the word shunning or disfellowshipping or any of that. So they get up. We have an announcement. It's usually at the end of the meeting. And that's what everyone gets to go home with and sleep on. So-and-so is no longer serving as an elder. That usually happens first. And then the next week, so-and-so is no longer one of Jehovah's Witnesses. They delete them first. Let's say it was an elder that committed adultery. They delete them first. And then, but in some cases, I've seen a case where they did it all in one night. Deleted them and everything, bang, one night. So that happens. Elder, it was over adultery. Yeah. So then what happens? No one knows what's going on, right? Well, in that same night, I think they announced the woman that he committed adultery with. And then that Friday, they gave a talk about adultery. Special needs talk, it's on the schedule. So everyone in the congregation knows what it's about. It's just how it is. It's embarrassing. If adultery happens in the congregation, no one needs to know about it. It doesn't need to be announced. No one needs to be disfellowshipped. Unless someone's unruly, unless there's something happening where the guy's coming in with a gun or something, then you need a restraining order with the police. You need the police involved. These elders aren't equipped to deal with half this stuff, but that's my local interjection. So here they are deciding on local needs parts, who should present them. Usually it ties in with disfellowship people, but if no one's been disfellowshipped lately because they're not wanting to do that no more, then they'll tie it in with something else. Cleaning up the yard or something. Helping out. Usually it's a work thing. Special needs, everyone getting together with their hammers and nails and helping out at the kingdom halls and stuff like that. They used to get us doing that. A lot of slave labor, free labor, make you feel guilty. Number 4, decide who should serve as a secretary. Yeah, they decide on, you see, there's no voting. This is what I want to put out here. There's no voting. They decide who should serve serve in all these different areas, who should be an elder, deciding who, if anyone, should assist or substitute. No voting. The congregation has no input. This is all done through the circuit overseers down. We're going to get into this more, how they decide on choosing elders and stuff. They have sections in the book for that. Okay, deciding who should serve as an auxiliary counselor and if needed, the counselor for auxiliary classes. That's different. I've never heard of that word before. Auxiliary counselor. Have you guys? Is this like an auxiliary pioneer? I don't think so. Never heard of that. I'd have to look that up.
Is the term counselor used?
Yeah, they're using the word counselor. Wonder if they use that in that other book. I'd have to look. Okay, if the Kingdom Hall is used by only one congregation, decide who should serve as a maintenance coordinator. Yeah, they had that when I was there. Decide who should serve as an account servant. They had that. Literature servant, territory servant, brother assigned to assist JW Oregon, JW Hub users. I didn't know. That's new because when I was in, they didn't have all this Hub stuff. So that's brand new. The audio visual support coordinator. That's my good wife. The cleaning coordinator. Well, that's what I do. Public talk guy. That's what I do. I do it, coordinate it. It's way easier doing it on your own, folks. Okay, any brothers who will assist them. So when I was in there, I was always working with the territory servant. Now, a territory servant is supposed to be like a elder, I guess. Service overseer is a brother who, the elder that looks after this. I'd always been behind there because I was organized and I had to make maps and things like that. So they'd stick me back there and take advantage of your skills. That's what they do. Deciding which exemplary baptized brother will receive special privileges. They do all of that. Chairman for the midweek, handling. That's why they have to have all these elders meetings, because they're continually upgrading and new people can get to be used on microphones and things like that. Offering a public prayer is a big deal. Not everyone gets to do that. Deciding who's approved to deliver public talks. You could be an elder, but you might not be approved to give public talks. Maybe, I don't know, lots of reasons. Maybe the guy is a good elder, but he gets up on the stage and he passes out. So he's not approved to give public talks. Or if you're like Rutherford, I know some elders that had to secretly have their shot of vodka or whatever didn't smell on them, come to the meeting and deliver that public talk and chew gum. They chew gum like crazy, but you'd know that they're half corked. They get on the stage and they give a fabulous public talk, really good public talk. I knew a brother that was an alcoholic. He was one of the best public speakers in the whole circuit. Okay, assigning 2 elders to investigate accusations of serious wrongdoings. Here's the problem with these guys. We're out in the field ministry. I'm a young ministerial servant. We're out in the field ministry driving, and there's 4 of us, 3 elders, and there's me. They're trying to train me to be an elder or something. We're driving by this elder's house. The elder that gives talks after he has a drink or two. And they look at me and they say, well, you're friends with that guy, with that elder. Why don't you go and check into why he drinks so much? They had a whole conversation in the car about this. And I finally said, it's not my job. It's your guys' job. You're the elders. You're the this is the presiding overseer trying to slough his job off onto a ministerial servant. And they do stuff like that. Sorry, just about swore. Okay. Yeah, I didn't like it. And I didn't do it. I didn't do the nonsense that they wanted. And that alcoholic brother never got dealt with. And when he did screw up and got committed adultery, they just disfellowshipped him. Never helped him with his alcohol problem. He was a really good speaker. It's too bad they didn't help him. And yeah, you come to the meeting and he's no longer there. He's disfellowshipped. So he tried to get back in. And I don't know what happened, but what I do know is his wife, they were regular pioneers. This elder and his wife, regular pioneers. And his wife married, they divorced, and his wife married his Bible study. Pissed him off. Anyways, that's what happened. Poor guy. He drove his snowmobile into a tree. And he's no longer with us today. He was a good guy. I was hoping he would have got reinstated, but he didn't. After many, many years. Anyways, this was another one of those stories out there about these elders and what goes on behind closed doors. Now, determining whether a warning talk, here's a good one, determining whether a warning talk should be given to the congregation and deciding who should present it. So what's a warning talk? That's a good one. You know, if there's, this is warnings, right? We're going to warn you. You see, folks, this is not a loving shepherding book. This is a judicial rule book, a warning talk. Can you believe that? So what is it? Okay, caught a brother smoking. Better give a warning talk to the whole congregation about smoking. Or better yet, I don't know how they're going to deal with that. You see, smoking cigarettes is bad, but in this elder's book, we're going to find out you can smoke marijuana. This is the weirdest thing I've ever heard. And you're going to see it for yourself on the screen here. I don't know if we'll get to it today. Unless someone really wants to see it, I'll show it to them at the end. Just put it in the comments. Okay, number 12, deciding which elders will handle the meetings with regular pioneers. So yeah, you wonder why they have all these elders meetings. Every year, the regular pioneers have this big meeting, formal meeting, and you feel special because it's the pioneer meeting, and all the publishers in the congregation, I wonder what happens in the pioneer meeting. Well, I remember when I went to the pioneers meeting, I was quite pissed off at the service overseer. I let him know. It was in the pioneer meeting, and you're allowed, the circuit overseers there, and you're allowed to talk about your problems. And I did. I talked about my problems. I talked about all my problems, and they didn't like it. My advice is don't talk about all your. If you dig down and share your inner self, that can come back and smack you. It did with me. But we're going to cover on my next show on Friday is called The Mask, the Jehovah's Witness mask. We're going to talk about that, and we all wear it. We all wear a mask, and we wear different masks. It's a really interesting subject. Now, deciding which elders will handle it, they do that. They have their special pioneer or their regular pioneer meeting each year. And I've been to 2 of them before they deleted me. Selecting speakers for special talks and memorials. That's a big thing. They want a good speaker for the special talk. And that follows the memorial, or I guess now it's the week before the memorial. A lot of times people are looking for new light. Every year, I remember going, and it was part of the program. We all got into this program, and it should have been alert. It should have alerted us and told us that we're in a cult, but we're always looking for new light. And I remember going to these special talks. I wonder if there's new light. And then my wife, my good wife, when we got married, I left. But every year there'd be a JW come out and see me, and I'd be asking him if there was any new light at the assemblies. Like, I was really interested. Not that it mattered, really, but you see, it was still in my head. I hadn't removed this stuff. So it's interesting as an ExJW how we end up being programmed. Okay, determining whether a publisher is scripturally free to remarry. What a bunch of baloney. Can you believe that? And they're going to get into it. There's a whole section there. If you know what's happening, folks, people are divorcing Jehovah's Witnesses. Like, they're in the Jehovah's Witness religion. They want out, so someone wakes up, they want out. So they divorce, get out. They don't commit any wrongdoing. They don't even want to get married. They just leave. So the person that's in there can't get married because there's no grounds. You see, that's how they monitor. You see, they got a divorce. The couple got a divorce. They signed off on a divorce. According to the land, they're allowed to remarry. Both parties are allowed to remarry. But according to Jehovah's Witnesses, no, they get involved. This is how close they get involved into people's lives. And it screws up with a lot of people's lives. It really messes with them. Could you imagine you're in love, you're divorced, many years have went by, you found someone in the congregation, it's hard enough finding someone that you're in love with, but you find someone new. You're divorced, but you can't get married because your ex didn't, you have no proof that your ex has ever slept with anybody else. Maybe your ex just wanted to be single, right? Screws with people, screws with their lives, this organization. It's not fair. Okay. You see, the world's not asking that. This organization is getting into people's lives. We're going to get into that further as we get into this book. Okay, recommending and reviewing the congregation's resolved monthly donations. Right out the gate, guys, they want the money, the money, the money, the money. Keep on the money, boys. S27 form. Determining the target balance of congregation funds. You see, they want the money up there. They want a certain amount of money there. And making recommendations to the congregation to donate excess funds to the world work. Right out the gate, guys, there's no love. I haven't read love in this book once. Right out the gate, it's about control, obey, and listen, and money. You guys see it? This is right to the elders. So when we wake up, let's not blame the elders. This is the people that hold the puppet strings, the faithful and discreet slave, the 9 men in New York. Let's hold them accountable. In my mind, those guys are the guys that have blood up to their elbows. We're going to get into that with this blood doctrine. Look how they push this blood doctrine. That'll probably be up on future shows here. Okay, if the Kingdom Hall is used by multiple congregations, reviewing and approving the monthly amount to be contributed to the Kingdom Hall Operating Committee for upcoming service year to care for the Kingdom Hall operating expenses. So the governing body wants to make sure they're getting as much money out of each of these Kingdom Halls. So they have an S42 form for that one. What did they have? An S27 form for the other one. So they have all kinds of forms. They want to make sure if there's any excess money in the operating accounts, that it gets sent to head office, to the branch is where it goes of that country. And then the branches, we've shown this on other programs, but in Canada here, they actually show the charity for the branch in Canada, and they show that it's an F, failure, X, because they're not transparent. The Mormons are the same. It all goes to the US. It all goes to headquarters. And yeah, there's 43 million, I think, Canada sent. I don't know. There was a lot. Maybe it was only 4 million. I'm not sure. 43 million seems like a lot. But the charity status in Canada shows how much they're sending, how much money they're collecting. And then there's no accounting for it. They have no programs to help people. It's quite interesting when we start looking from that level. Okay, so in the Elders book, 20, deciding who will temporarily serve as a coordinator, determining whether it's necessary for the congregation as a whole to consider providing some form of assistance to needy people. Long history of faithful service. So I didn't realize this was in here, but if you're faithful, and you have needs, they're supposed to provide you with some form of assistance. It's in the Elders book. So now you guys out there, we have a larger audience that's needy. I think this should be a very important point to everyone. to get them to go back. It's in their elders book, number 21 under this section. What section are we under? Yeah. Jay? Yeah, the account servant is supposed to tell the COB when the amount of money reaches more than 3 months of congregation expenses. Then they probably send excess money away. Yeah. Thanks for that, Jay. Yeah, anybody else? Because I've never been an elder, so I don't know exactly what goes on. I have a good idea. But this book sure clears a lot of stuff up. So yeah, if you're needy, you're supposed to be getting help, particularly if there's no family members or other relatives to assist you with assistance from government agencies if available. You see, there's nothing in the Watchtower. So they're sending you, and I knew they do this. All the brothers are going to do is what we do on this channel. Joe and Fran are doing that on Wednesday nights, helping people. But that's all they're going to do. But Joe and Fran are helping people in a larger way. You know, someone needs a chair or something like that because they're too old. They were able to make that happen within a week. Not the governing body. That won't happen. They're going to try to get you to go on your family members, relatives. If you have none, then they'll try to get you in with some government agencies and stuff like that. They might help in certain congregations, might help a bit, you know, but they're not going to look after you long term. There's no program to look after seniors. Even if you're a Bethel worker, it looks like they're starting a program for Bethel workers. In the UK, they're building their first senior home. It'll be built in 2027. My opinion, they're a little bit late to the game. They should have been doing this 30 years ago. Baby boomers, right? Everyone started building for the baby boomers 30, 40 years ago. Okay, number 22, decide if it's unsafe for the congregation to attend a meeting. You know, bomb threat or civil unrest. Elders are responsible for that. A lot of responsibility being an elder nowadays, I would say, more so than it was a few years ago. You know, if you find a paper bag, I don't know if they have that here, but they found a paper bag just in front of a Kingdom Hall and it was a bomb. We did a video on that. Okay, deciding a funeral for a publisher who committed suicide may be held at the Kingdom Hall. And the purpose of the funeral would be to provide comfort for the family members. So it sounds like if someone committed suicide, it could be held at the Kingdom Hall, maybe if they all decide. Elders meetings. When the body of elders discuss, well, here's what they'll decide. If it didn't bring any public shame to the elder body, then they might say, okay, but if the person was suicide because they were disfellowshipped that night and they went home and committed suicide, these guys aren't going to allow it to happen at the Kingdom Hall because it's going to be blatant that they committed suicide because they were shunned and disfellowshipped. And that could bring bad publicity to them. We're going to learn more about this coming Be Free, folks, friends. Be Free is coming up September 13th, and it's on National Suicide Month, September 13th at the White House. Now, elders meetings. When the body of elders discusses a matter, Christ, by means of the Holy Spirit, can influence any elder to make an expression that contributes to a wise decision, one that may not have been reached if the elder has been consulted individually. And meetings should not normally exceed 2 hours in length. That's a big draw. Imagine being an elder, you got all these meetings, service arrangements, and all these things, and then you got to go to the Kingdom Hall, or you stay late after the Kingdom Hall. The Kingdom Hall meeting's done at 9:30 at night, and then you stay for another 2 hours, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12. You come home at midnight. You got to get up and go to work. How do you put a good day's work in for your employee? It's not that easy. You come home, you got to unwind. What kind of stuff was put into your mind through that elders meeting? What kind of weighing stuff that weighs on you? You see, that's what happens to these elders. I wouldn't want to be an elder. Okay. They say Christ by means of the Holy Spirit can influence any elder. Wouldn't that be true? Christ could influence anybody. Anybody. You see, Jehovah's Witnesses believe, and I don't know if we'll find the scripture here in this book, but they believe, according to Revelation, that Jesus' right hand, there's 7 stars in his right hand. They believe that is the elders in Jesus' right hand. So, what's that? It's gone on mine. Sorry, I was just commenting to my wife. Okay, so there's no general provision for elders' meetings to be held via video conference. Any elder who can't attend may be consulted prior to the elders' meeting. It should be updated. Okay, so if you can't attend, you can't. You have to just get it secondhand information. When to hold. In addition to elders' meetings are held during each visit of the CO's visit. An elders' meeting should be held about 3 months after each visit. Other meetings can be arranged any time that circumstances necessitate. You know, and some congregations are always having elders' meetings every night after the meeting. What to discuss? Could you imagine being an elder's wife? And maybe some of you in the audience have been elders' wives. What that's like? You know, what kind of closeness do you have? Elder comes home, can't talk to you about any of those things. Comes home at midnight, you know, watches TV, winds down, maybe has a glass of scotch. Hopefully he can go to sleep. 2 a.m. I only got a 4-hour sleep. I got to get up and go to work. That's the life of an elder. Can't talk to his wife about it. Can't really even go talk to the other elders about it. Okay, what to discuss? The body of elders may discuss any matters pertaining to the congregation, anything, gossip. Generally, these would involve matters that cannot be handled by individual elders or that are not the responsibility of another entity, such as Congregation Service Committee or Kingdom Hall Operating Committee. So anything that could be called on. Following are some of the matters that merit attention at meetings held about 3 months after the visit of the CO. You see, and remember, the CO is the puppet string to the branch. That's how they control the elders. And they review the circuit overseer's report on his previous visit to the congregation. See, the circuit overseer comes in and he works the elders over a lot of times, works them over. And sometimes they're loving, but they're mostly just higher up sergeants in a military type regime. And they work these elders over to do more, be better, whatever. They're going to find faults. Everyone can find faults in anybody, right? There's nothing in this book so far that says to love. I haven't found it. Now, in preparation for the next visit of the CO's overseer, consider any recommendations for appointments. So it's all appointments or deletions of elders or servants. That's what it's all about. Consider whether and how the congregation can do more to give a thorough witness. So it's always about doing more to give a thorough witness to the territory. So they want more service, more door-to-door ministry out of the flock. So elders are going to read this, and they're going to get up and they're going to say, well, we got to give a talk. We got to, people are just checking the box and they're not even going out in the ministry no more. We got to give a special needs talk. And this is how it all gets going. And other elders are in the little group there. And they say, well, what gives you because it's right here in the elders book. And they open the elders book and they look at this. It's like God. This elders book is like their Bible. It's their new Bible. It's secret. They love it. A lot of them love it. Okay. Consider the spiritual and physical needs of widows, orphans, and the blind and the homebound, those living in remote locations. Consider them with special circumstance. So what do? What does that mean? Well, they don't talk about it. It just says consider them. Consider the spiritual and physical needs of widows and orphans. So what does it mean to consider? I wonder what they mean. I know the scriptures, and I do know the deeper meaning. That actually means to do something. It says for those in remote locations or those in nursing homes or prisons. So Do you know what it means to consider, folks? It means that if there's an older lady in a nursing home, she's a widow, they'll schedule some pioneer like myself when I was in it to go and visit them. Just visit them. Just go and have a coffee with them. See how they're doing. Usually elders do that because it's easy service time. They count service for it. Easy time. They go in and visit them in the senior home, or if they're living at home or remote locations. That's all they do. They consider it. They'll say, well, so how are you doing? You know, how are you getting by? You know, and if they're not getting by, if they talk about it, well, they'll consider it. And maybe they might even go to the congregation. Well, you know, maybe we can help out. I don't know. They do sometimes. But again, friends, there's no program. You see, within all other charity religions, most all others, reputable charity religions are out there. They're building senior homes, they're building hospitals, they're building hostels. They have hostels for people. You can crawl in on your hands and knees to a church, soup kitchen, have something to eat, stay at the hostel, and get some rehabilitation through the church program. Talk to the minister. There's a lot of different groups out there, Salvation Army, you know, a lot of private groups doing this, a lot of many church groups, but nothing in the Jehovah's Witnesses. They consider it. They don't do anything. There's nothing more on it. Okay, moving forward, consider what further training is needed to help brothers care properly for assignments. That's more important, brothers on assignments, including newly baptized younger brothers to take on greater responsibility. So there's always a push, you see, folks, for when you become a Jehovah's Witness, you get the brownie or the Boy Scouts badges. You know, it's like going into the Boy Scouts, and maybe you master carving, so you get the carving badge. Maybe you master lighting a fire with 3 matches out in the bush, so you get that badge. That's kind of what it is. It's just badges of honor. They're invisible badges, but it's the same thing. It's badges of honor. And they want all the younger brothers, they get them, let's maybe encourage them to get onto the mics. And you see how it's always pushing people to do more, free labor, do more. And people want to do it. They want to be involved. Some, not all. For example, a qualified ministerial servant might serve as a group servant, handling parts during the midweek meetings, giving public talks, and accompany the elders on shepherding calls. And that's, you know, what we had to do. Review the congregation assignments of all exemplary baptized brothers. For example, is there a need to balance out the workload of appointed brothers? So this is what happens. This is what brothers, elders talk about. They go through this book. And we're still in chapter 1, compiling and distributing the agenda. Let's see how far chapter 1 goes. We're right here. So it's not far. We're going to finish chapter 1 here. Elders meetings. When to hold, when to discuss. We covered the matters, some of the matters that are covered in these meetings. Compiling and distributing the agenda. They have them during each elder should freely express himself, pursue peace, and maintain confidentiality. So let's get right into here. Pursue peace. Did we cover this point here? Let's see. Pursue peace. And during the meeting, I think we covered that. It's just all elder meeting stuff. This is one, I guess. No one should insist on his personal viewpoint. If a decision is not unanimous, the minority should give willing support to the final decision. If the opinion of the minority is a Bible-based decision, still has not reached, the minority should continue to cooperate with the rest of the body and should bring a matter to the attention of the circuit overseer. So yeah, if you have a split body, then the CO gets involved, and sometimes they bring in another body, and we'll probably cover this in another chapter. Okay, pursue peace, imperfections of others, we have to allow for that. At the same time, you should not hold back from giving fellow elders shit. Oh, no, I mean loving concern. Okay. You should not hold back from giving fellow elders loving counsel when needed. Hey, guys, the word loving's in there. We found loving. Okay, that's one of the 5 times it's in there. Oh, no, loving was 15 times. So 13, take the lead in showing honor to your fellow elders. One way you can do this is by keeping the communication open and free, especially if there's differences. Younger elders should be respectful to older ones. And it's all just standard stuff. Humility will allow you to accept counsel. There's nothing wrong with a lot of this stuff in the elders book. I guess every organization needs a book, a rule book, and the more rules I guess they have in the book, the less phone calls they get to the branch office. Well, what do I do? We can't agree on something. Well, it's in your elders book. Wait until the CO comes. That's kind of how they do it. Unless it's serious. Okay. Maintain confidentiality. Elders should be very careful not to divulge confidential matters. If an elder reveals a confidential talk of those in the congregation, he would lose their trust and ruin his reputation. And this can happen inadvertently if he discusses confidential matters, either in person or on telephone. So if you have elders that are breaching your trust, folks, this is what their book says. They're not supposed to do it. Within earshot of others too. People talk, eh? Out of love for his wife, an elder will not burden her with information that she does not need to know. So there's for you women. Confidential conversations such as those held during a shepherding call as an elder's meeting, a judicial hearing, an investigation of alleged wrongdoing, or conversation with the branch office should never be recorded. This is true whether the conversation is face-to-face or by telephone or video conferencing, even if those involved have given consent to record the conversation. So they don't want any recordings, nothing, because they know it'll end up on YouTube in an hour. They don't want any recordings. Okay, so that's it. That's chapter 1 of the Elders book. And it took an hour and 26 minutes to do that. Well, we played around with some stuff at the beginning. Okay, so we're going to go down. So we know that they're trying to make it look like they're not responsible, because this book is made in Korea. This is a Korean publication. That's who makes this. It's the Bible and Tract Society of Korea, of the Republic of Korea. And it's printed in the US, so we're not responsible. That's what they're saying right at the outset. We're not responsible. Their old elders book showed it was made, and the responsible parties were in New York, but not this elders book. But we did find out that the elders, they're to answer to the watchtower and the circuit overseers and the branches. So that holds accountability back to the holders of the puppet string, the faithful slave. Those are the ones. So we did find that early on. So here we go. We just covered chapter 1, folks, just how elders work together as a body. Now, next week, we'll cover chapter 2, Congregation Service Committee. And before we go any further, is there any questions? Anybody want to know anything? Okay, what do we have here? I've seen one starred one. I'm just going all the way up. Oh, there's a bunch there. Okay. Okay, that was another one. Well, thanks. I pulled off that hat. Thank you. I read the article that stated the latest activist group on the internet. We are. Hooray. And just looking. There. Now it looks like I'm looking at the book, right? I mirrored myself. I read an article that stated we're the latest activists. What did this one say? There's a topic you'd like Vern to cover. Let us know. Yes. So if you guys have any topic, we are going to cover the whole Elders book. And we'll label it. I'll call this one Chapter 1 on this thumbnail after I'm done. That use of loving was directed only at the fellow elders. Yeah, it was. It wasn't directed at the congregation yet. We only got through chapter 1. There was not one love there to the congregation. I didn't see it, or I would have pointed that out. Okay, so, well, I wanted to know about something. I'm going to type it in here. I wanted to know about shunning, Shun No More 2024, disfellowshipping. Disfellowship's in there 130 times disfellowship is in this book. Can you believe that? What if we go PED? Disfellowshipped. You're done. You're out. Is in there 75 times. You're disfellowshipped. Out. Okay. Appointments, caution before recommending brothers previously reproved or disfellowshipped or disassociated. Disfellowship. Let's go just disfellowship. The word disfellowship. And let's go to the next. Communications between committees. The final decision to reinstate or disassociate is always made by the reinstatement committee that originally handled the matter. So if you move, that's why it's important, folks, if you move, be careful. This happened in my household. It wasn't with myself. But if you move and the person doesn't get reinstated in that congregation, it adds a lot of time onto the person being disfellowshipped for, at least back then. Looks like it does here still. But if you move, then they gotta try to coordinate with the original body that disfellowshipped you to get you reinstated, because they know the details. You see, you don't have to. The worst mistake you can make if you move is to pass details on to the congregation you move into. Never do that. My advice. I did, and it cost me. I was in a congregation and things went awry, and I went and bought a pack of cigarettes, smoked it. And I ended up in the elders meeting for smoking, and I was privately reproved. Threw away the smokes, and decided I would buy alcohol instead. It was approved, alcohol, if I was stressed. So I went to alcohol. All the other elders were using alcohol. Privately, of course. And cigarettes was a no-no. That was when I was younger. So I got approved privately. And then I moved into another congregation. Like, it was like 3 hours away. No one knew anybody. I moved. And one day I was just standing at the back of the hall, just by the bulletin board. And it was very casual. And the presiding overseer, and this is a big tall guy. And he looks down at me and he says, so Vern, I was reading a letter from that was sent, and they said you were privately reproved. And you mind me asking what that was about? You see, he said, you mind me asking what was it about? They might even ask you, and you say, I don't have to tell you. It's private. I should have said that it was private. It's none of your concern. And walked away. The nosy bastard. Because after that, I couldn't even get a mic job. I couldn't get anything. That guy condemned me for years. And then one day I moved out of the congregation. But don't do that. My advice. Communication between committees, disfellowshipping. These guys are nosy, and they don't need to know all your details if you move from one congregation to the other. The date of announcement and reinstation, the same information. So we're going to go through this on its own. Disfellowshipping. I wanted to know if they're lightening up on it, but they're not. It's the same as it was. It's maybe they lightened up on the how you deal with disfellowship people. I haven't found that part yet, but you see here it is, a disfellowship person or one who has disassociated himself. You see, I'm a disassociated person. I disassociated myself. I walked away. I actually wrote a letter to Bethel. I skipped the CO. I skipped everyone. I just wrote a letter right to the service desk. And then they went back to the congregation I was in and said, go visit me. And then they came and visited me. And I said, don't waste your time. I quit. And that was the end of it. So that's what you call disassociation. It's the same as being disfellowshipped. Those two brothers went back. I said, I quit. They probably made an announcement and said that I'm this, is no longer, so-and-so is no longer part of the congregation. He quit. And that they treat you the same as a disfellowship person. So it says there, they may be reinstated when he gives clear evidence, he or she, I guess, gives clear evidence of repentance over a reasonable period of time, demonstrates that he has abandoned his sinful course. So I didn't have a sinful course. I just walked away, and I had nothing to abandon. In fact, I told the brothers, I'm going to worship Jehovah on my own terms. I didn't like how I was manhandled in these congregations. The last one, I didn't like it. And I said, I'm not going to subject myself or my family to that. And that's when I went through a divorce. And that's all okay. So fine. So when the body of elders receive a letter of request, so when you have to write a letter. So in this case, I have no letter. I wrote Bethel a letter and I laid out all my reasons I quit. Those elders never addressed one reason. Not one reason. So they just wanted to know if I was going back. And I said, no. So you become disassociated. So I have no desire to go back. So why would I write a letter? But yet you're disfellowshipped. You see, our human rights is broken right here, folks. We don't have to go too much further. This is a really easy book to figure out if your human rights are broken. Here it is, right here. That's how they deal with disfellowship. So if you don't want to go back, they've already labeled you as disfellowship. You're the devil, you're bad, you're evil, you're wicked, you're worse than wicked because you once knew the truth. They call it the truth. And you left it. You see, I didn't leave the Bible. I didn't leave any of that. I just left meeting with these narcissistic men that humiliate and bully people. And there's a lot of reasons I put in my letter. But anyways, everyone has letters they send out to the governing body or to your branches, your elders, whatever. I've always just been upfront with people. But I have no desire to go back, but yet you're humiliated, you're disfellowshipped, you're disassociated, and you're listed here. So we'll cover this. We'll get into it. They haven't changed how they disfellowshipped. It's not changing. Shun no more 2024. We will still keep proclaiming that until they loosen up on this. Okay, well, that brings an end to what we're going to cover. We covered chapter 1. Any other requests? Narcissist rationale, if you want to see anything else, good wife? Yeah, I think that's good. We don't want to overdo this. We're going to run this. If we have to do 20 programs, we're going to show this whole elders book. We're going to read every chapter online. And next week it'll be chapter 2. So we hope that you guys join us next week and we can take a look at this. So this week we've to highlight, we've learned that the elders book is They tried to make it look like it's done in Korea, but we get a little further in and it shows that the faithful slave is controlling everything. So it's right there. We've looked at disfellowshipping. It hasn't changed. The shun no more. It's the same as what it used to be. So we have a human rights issue here. We're going to keep pushing it here in Canada. And if you're a Canadian, go into our descriptions here where there's a link. Hit it, sign up. We have a petition. We're going to be going to, well, we already sent it to our MPs. We had a couple of people in Canada. I think JM sent it to the MPs. Few of us have. And we're going to be pushing this even further and trying to get meetings and so forth and get this into the Parliament in Canada here. And we're going to be talking about disfellowshipping big time. It's breaking human rights all over the place. So if this religion wants to be charity, known as a charity religion, it's going to have to change shunning. That has to stop. You have to be able to walk away from a religion if you no longer believe it and not be an outcast, not be broadcasted, not have your name announced anywhere, and not have these elders viciously attack you to make sure that your own kids or anybody doesn't talk to you just because you walked away, decided to walk away, never go back. So, sure, I could look up something.
Great, because Apathy Boy has asked a couple times, is there anything about identifying anointed ones?
Oh, good question. Anointed. Apathy. Anointed. Anointed. Okay, the word anointed doesn't come up. Anoint. Okay, so what's another word? The word anointed, would it be the okay, partaking? Partaking doesn't come up. Partaking did not come up. Emblems. They call them emblems sometimes. Talk about idolatry. They're emblems. 1 out of 3, 2 out of 4, 4 times, 10 times. Okay, let's look at emblems, see what it says. If a publisher, emblems or not, if the qualified baptized is not a baptized sister wearing a head covering should say the prayer, pass the emblems. Watch the conclusion of the recorded talk, so they won't let the sister do the talk. Emblems, it should be, with advanced planning, it should be possible for most publishers to acquire the emblems. If it's not, so they should be able to acquire them. Well, they pass them around like a collection plate. Let's see what it says. Emblems or not, if publishers, the prayer should be said. Okay, emblems. The prayer should be offered. The emblems will be passed. Not much on it. They don't count on anybody taking them. Although memorial talks may be given, the emblems should not be passed till after sundown. Although the memorial talk, okay, the body of elders doesn't say anything. What are we looking for? Anything specific? Well, it's whoever takes the emblems that's anointed. So anybody can be anointed. The problem with, and I know this from experience, I've driven around as a regular pioneer. I wasn't, my last part of being in the org, I was a regular pioneer. And you end up driving around during the week. Everyone else is out working, like it should be. And you end up driving around with these other regular pioneers, elders. We had a service overseer, regular pioneer elder, very bossy. And we drive around and he would complain about ones that have taken the emblems. We'd be out in the ministry, right? And he'd say, "Oh yeah, so sister so and so takes the emblems," and I said, "Well, let's go and see her or whatever, or blah blah blah." And he said, "Well, some people." Then we drive for a mile or two, and then he'd drop a line in. Well, some people might think they're righteous enough to take them, and they just take them, or some people come out of the Catholic religion and they think they should be taking them all the time, so it's just stuck in some of these old people. So he starts rambling on like no one deserves to have the emblems. And I know that most elders believe that unless you're righteous enough, like a circuit overseer or a governing body or something really righteous, that if you just took the emblems, they're going to judge you. So even if you feel like you should be taking those emblems, you're going to not want to, because no one takes them. No one takes them. And you automatically know there's only 144, there's only room for 144,000 up there, because they said so. They told us. So no one's going to take the emblems. You're just not going to do it. There's no room up there. It's probably already full. That's how you think. It's really backwards thinking, folks. So then why the hell do they pass the emblems? Good question. Good question on this. So we're going to run into this, folks. Don't be afraid. No questions. They're all smart questions. 119K for the rest of us. Talking woman, tall cool woman. Shauna has a JD. I came to believe God didn't want me. I gave everything I could so my works would allow my kids to slide through Armageddon, but I knew I wasn't going to make it. Well, you have every chance of making it. And that's all BS anyways. We're all, okay, here's how I look at it. And I'm going to say this in closing. We all occupy a vessel. And we're going to cover this in my next show coming up on Friday. We're talking about masks. So inside the vessel, we have a body. You're inside this vessel, this body. You feel it. You feel the spirituality. There's something. We feel it. I don't know what it is. Does it matter? I don't know if we're supposed to know it all, but we have a purpose. So we're in this body. We have a purpose. We see things. We're looking out. We're witnessing all this stuff around us. And right now, right here, this time, we're here together. We're looking, we're communicating, we're online. What is our purpose in this vessel? Where are we going? Well, the answers are within. And we're going to talk about that on Friday. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. You won't miss it. We have a whole lineup this week. Joe and Fran have a new show for us. And I'm going to show you that next. I thought I showed you that, what's coming. But I'll show it again here. Sure. The requirement for the anointed is one must be baptized, JW, and eat the bread and drink the wine. That's it. That is the requirement. But if you walk in that org and you get baptized, and that the next memorial, you eat the wine and drink the bread, you're going to have them questioning you, because there's only room for 144,000, and they're going to look at you like you've made a mistake. You're not anointed. That's just the way it is. That's how they talk. That's how elders talk, and they drive around in their little cars, and they judge people left and right. It's just a big judging game. And that's what we're showing you guys in the elders book. It's a big judging game. Okay, I want to show you this just before I leave. This is what's coming up. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., and this is going to reach some other time zones. This is Joe's new show. It's called His Story Time. History Time. What's the story about religion? This is going to be a deeper show. It's going to get into our thinking and how we're viewing things at this point in the game as being ExJWs. So you're going to, Joe and Fran both, you're going to enjoy that show. That's 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Grab your coffee. Our time, 9 o'clock our time, 11 o'clock New York time. If you're in California, it'll be 8 o'clock. Now on Wednesday night, this week, we usually go a little earlier, 5 p.m., but this week we're going at 8 p.m. with Joe and Fran, and they have some events happening, and I will be on, if you want to see where I am, I'll be on Panda Tower with Miguel. He's doing an interviewing me at 7 p.m. tomorrow on Wednesday. And then after, I'll be on with him for an hour, and then I'll be starting with Joe and Fran up. They're going to take a late show, 8 p.m., and that'll be like a 3-hour program. Their standard Your Outside Story. And then, of course, on Friday at noon, I'll be doing the show on the Watchtower Masks. And that'll be our rundown for this week. And then we'll let you know what's going on next week. Well, thanks again, folks. That brings an end to the program. I should say friends. Thanks again, friends, for being on with us. And yeah, good night, everyone. Good night. And thanks for, okay. Rational Mention. Yeah, they're one of our supporters. Thanks again for joining. And I wanted to mention just a little bit about Be Free coming up. We're going to keep pushing for the Be Free. That's how we make changes. And that's how we get them to change their elders book, is we just keep pushing and then they keep changing. So that's what we're going to push, is the Be Free protest. Let's go. Here's what it looks like. September 13th.